Hello, my name is Elizabeth, and this is our silicone diode IV characteristic circuit. So as you can see here, we simply have our DC voltage source coming into the diode, and then here we have the 1K resistor connected at the output of it. And so what we've plotted here is our current across the diode over the voltage drop across the diode. And so as characteristic of a diode, we see that the current increases exponentially with an increase in the voltage. And we can see that here from our plotted values. So this is the half-wave rectifier circuit. We have our diode right here, and we also have the capacitor attached to the output of the diode, and then we also have the resistor attached to that the outside of the diode. And so if we take a look at our waveforms here, we see that this is the input, and then in the blue is the channel 2, which is the output on the cross out of the diode. And so we see that because there is a capacitor here, our ripple voltage consists of the minimum minus the maximum minus the minimum points, and then we can also see that because the capacitor is there, it holds on to the charge. But if we remove this capacitor from the circuit, we then see that the charge is no longer held onto because the capacitor is missing, and so we can see that the output follows the same shape. This is the active half-wave rectifier circuit. So here we have our op-amp, and we have the diode connected to the inverting input of the op-amp. We also have the output of the op-amp feeding back into that inverting input, and then we have our source coming into the non-inverting input of the op-amp. And so if we take a look at our waveforms here, this is for 1 kilohertz frequency at 1 volt amplitude. Here is for 1 kilohertz frequency of 500 millivolts amplitude, and then this is for 10 kilohertz frequency and 500 millivolts amplitude. And so we see that because this is an active circuit, we see that although the input sine wave amplitude is less than V gamma, which for our transistor is 0.7, the signal is still rectifying.